I would like to welcome now Professor Vandana Arora Sethi, Group Director, Loy Group of Institutions, Greater Noida. She's a gold medalist from Delhi University with work experience of more than 18 years, including industrial experience at Ranbaxy Research Laboratories, Gurgaon, and Smart Analyst, Gurgaon. Apart from pharmacy, she has done her LLB and certificate program in leadership and strategy from IIM Bangalore with over 60 research publications in national and international journals of repute, and has guided more than 50 MPharm projects, delivered several oral presentations at national and international levels. Awards and honors: awarded the Best Teacher Award October 2009, LT Trophy Award for the Best Outgoing Student August 2001. Welcome,
Hi,
Professor One. Thank you.
hi Chitra ma'am. Thanks for this. Thank you, Sarika. And first, I would like to greet my respected teachers and seniors here, Dr. Popli, who's been my teacher and mentor, and Dr. Pathak, Dr. Kanchan Kuli. So this webinar has been an opportunity to see them, virtually and seek blessings. Much has been actually said about the virtues of the virtual education by Dr. Pathak and Dr. Popli as well. Let me just start my presentation and we shall talk through the presentation only. Just give me a moment. Yeah. The screen's visible, right?
Yes, thank you.
So the digital transformation that I'm going to be talking about is for the Gen X and the Gen Alpha, as the generations born after 1995 are called. And most of our students in higher education setup today are from this generation. So the digital transformation is not only for today, not post-COVID that we have to start thinking about, but it is for institutes management to been thinking about it since a long time. And this transformation actually initiated when social media became so prevalent, when so many education sites came up, and when online learning became so popular. So we have been thinking from those times. Like I said, most of it has been said by Dr. Pathak and Dr. Popli. So I would rather focus on what our institute has been doing, what has been the management's thoughts on the virtual education, and how the management has got a changed mindset to go digital. So there is so much uncertainty which has been going because of the future of global economy after the coronavirus, more so. And there is a lot of speculation in India also on the possible impact which it can have on GDP, on unemployment, and a lot of things. So the economists are expecting that there'll be a lot of impact on sectors like automobiles, on MSMEs and aviation, agriculture, and more so on travel and hospitality. But it is certainly going to influence the education sector. So the digital transformation for which we have been getting prepared, now is the time to actually practice it. So only automation and digitalization is going to save the education sector. So gone are the days, when there was Gurukul education. Gone are those days. And even the conventional classroom these days sounds so obsolete. You can't even imagine having a conventional classroom where a teacher is teaching and there is no use of technology. So even in our institute, we've got all smart boards and the teachers have been teaching using all the technology. The institutes really need to get prepared for education of generation Z and Gen Alpha, and we need to evolve with technology with moving times. Since I've been a part of the management, so I can share some views on how our mindset has been changing when we have automation in our cars, when we have automation with Alexa at home, for our shopping needs, and from morning to night, anything we need, we think of. Then why education be left behind with using only the chalk and board method? So actually, COVID-19 has become a form of catalyst for us, and the digital transformation which the world has been thinking of. Now's the time, and now COVID has pushed us to search for innovative learning solutions in a relatively shorter period of time. Adoption of tech-led holistic solutions has helped us tide over the challenge. So we've had the classes going on without a halt, which could have taken maybe 5 years, has now probably happened, in 30 days or maybe 30 to 45 days. So why should we go digital? We've seen the advantages as spoken by, madam as well. So there is a improved decision making, there is direct interaction with students, and the teachers can evaluate the contents directly. I'm sure my teachers have been happy with this because, the student results and all can be analyzed so quickly, and feedback can be given so, swiftly. And we've actually been practicing that. Then there is resource optimization, like increased computers in institutions, better data management. So this results, it enhances even the teaching staff's efficiency and productivity. Also, there is more distributed academic workload for the teachers, though our ministers have been telling to cut short the workload to online classes, for online classes to only 2 hours a day. But I'm sure the teachers are happy with this transition. And so this type of classrooms warrants the best schedules to be generated for the faculty as well. Then there are new digital tools, can be used in the classrooms. And so teaching materials can be prepared collaboratively between teachers of various colleges also, not only within the college, but different colleges, faculty can get together and do it. So all these have helped, reinforce the efficiency of educational institutions, and also obtain a better management process. So one can review the time it takes for a student to take a test and everything. Now, who begins the change? So this is more so, for the institute's management to see, and we can see all the leaders, a lot of leaders have joined this webinar, especially the panelists, Dr. Pobli being the dean. And so it is the leaders who must embody the digital culture of the company, and in our case, the organization or the institute. The digitalization actually has to come from the office of the provost or the VC or the department leaders in the organization, and must guide the process for digital transformation to be effective. We cannot really ask our teachers and administrators and students to change their habits without having us, the senior leaders, adapting to this way of doing things. So this may cause the transformation process to be successful if it comes from the top and flows down. I'm actually talking here about changing the institution's DNA, and a profound process that is going to require a lot of commitment, and it is going to result in new forms of interaction, new tools, and even new tools of working. This also is to be followed by a strong IT team and technology providers in the institute. Otherwise, we cannot just say that we must digitalize the education and everything going online. The institutes have to be prepared mentally, physically, financially for this change. So what, like I said, what we've been doing in our institute is that, we've got automated processes now for, steps from getting us the right candidates. So starting with admissions, and enrollments. So it means our marketing and the selling of courses has gone online. Getting and maintaining leads through CRMs and ERPs have been developed in the campus only. And a lot of webinars for counseling the candidates has been happening. There is a 3D tour of the campus on the candidate's phone, which takes place, to filling out the application forms, to their group discussions, to, on the online platforms, their personal interviews in Zoom, and a lot of things. Everything, the entire process has been automated. So if a private institute like ours can do so, I'm sure there is a lot for the universities to, take up. And there is also the process of digital fee payment now, and obviously the rest follows. So online learning and assessment, which has majorly been covered by Dr. Pathak very beautifully and taken up by Dr. Pupli as well. So we have also implemented the hybrid, blended and online learning, the HP education. And so we have done it through the LMS, and the technology, it is built in our own institute with the minimum in-house resource of only 3 IT people. And we are also promoting online learnings, including MOOCs and SWAYAM, digital and audiovisual platforms. Also, social media platforms like Instagram, WhatsApp are also being put to extensive use. And so online platforms are being used extensively for students, giving them assignments, taking feedbacks, and and now, like Kanchan ma'am also said before the webinar started, about like the M-Pharm Vivas are being conducted online. So I'm sure it is here to stay. Not only the Vivas now, but later on also the digitized online examination systems. And so the future of education, I would say, is digitization and the computer-based tests. But all is not a rosy picture. There are a lot of challenges which I'm sure all of us are facing, more so starting with the leaders in education to the faculty. So a lot of challenges that we've had to face in the last 3 months is that there is a rejection of to change, especially again coming from people who've been in the system for a very long time. Then what is missing is a social and physical connect, which reduces the bonding between a teacher and a student. In India, internet and electricity issues as well. There is affordability of technology. So there have been students who cannot afford iPads and various other devices to use this. And in pharmaceutical education, going by, practical education becomes difficult by this way. Also, there is digital illiteracy, I would call it, because everybody needs a training on conducting online classes. Our existing technology is very obsolete. So, developing the mindset to get into the new system is going to, take up time, and that becomes confusing sometimes, where to start and, how much to do and where to end. The biggest challenge, I would say, in, for us to introduce new systems has been the fear of uncertainty, which is the corona fear, which is there in the mind of all students. And even the layman, everybody, what they call ab kya hoga, so what next. So though we would say the online education is here to stay and everything, we are getting prepared for the next steps, but what about the uncertainty? So the solution that we got for this is what we've been following also to reduce the uncertainty is we've been doing extensive student connect. So I always tell my students, and I keep telling them during all my talks to them also, a small line from this song which says, "Nahi rehne wali ye mushkilein, ke hain agle mode pe manzile." So when the world looks really dark and doomy, what we say कि लेकिन वो मंजिल पाने के लिए चलना पड़ेगा और कभी-कभी दौड़ना भी पड़ेगा. So this online digital the digital transformation that we are talking about ourselves, and we engage the students also at each level extensively. There are online lectures, there are webinars, there are extensive corporate exposures. So we are getting so many corporate people to talk to our students during these times, which never happened earlier, obviously because of lack of time. And because this kind of technology never existed for us. We have been doing e-debate competitions in the college. We've been doing e-quizzes. We've been doing poster competitions. We even did an online cultural program. So, we've been doing pre-induction talk with the students. The best part, we've got an academic calendar made ahead of what the university, gives us, which has got a major online involvement. We are doing, in fact, even online corporate readiness classes for our final years. Our mentors have never, left the hand of our students during the last 3 months. So there are regular calls to the mentees about their health, well-being, how they are doing, and to reduce the fear in them of uncertainty, like I said. Now, some of the trends that we have been adopting in our institute, I will not go into the details of this. It requires a separate session. But what we've been following in our institute, and like I said, we've been able to manage with very less IT people. A strength of 3 IT people have developed these things for us. So we are giving services. So like this transformation in services involves creating new products. And we've been changing the existing ones also. Like, for example, we are migrating from using the tangible textbooks to digital ebooks. We have developed chatbots, and online Q&A are available in libraries. One relatively simple way we are doing it in the libraries by digitizing periodicals and books. so that they can be available online to more than one student at a time. So this increases the library's value also, and there is convenience to all the students and staff. Moving to the curriculum online, the example of digital transformation is maybe one of the most popular, right now. So online courses also we are introducing. We are developing a short online certification course on pharmaceutical analytics. We are also trying to develop a course on law along with pharmacy. So I'm sure these short online courses are, going to be the way ahead. We are taking our operations completely digital, starting from enrollments, like I already showed the flowchart. So we have been following IoT, we are following augmented reality and virtual reality as told by madam. And, with the help of our own analytical students, we have developed these. We are using blockchain technology, then artificial intelligence and machine learning. So artificial intelligence and, AI and ML can be developed around campuses to answer simple questions also, which come in chatbots. So it's very easy to make a chatbot, and we've been learning how to do it. So these trends are here to stay, and it's time that institutes, adopt them and get rid of the conventional thinking and move ahead, into the road. So this picture which I saw in Dr. Popley's slides as well, and because this is the road ahead. Any transformation is a challenge, we know it. It is very hard to ruin the well-known comfortable approaches and replace them with something new and unknown. But the digital transformation is a need rather than an option now. We can start by taking small steps, like for example creating an e-learning platform, and then we can move to something more complex like an IoT and AI later. I would just give my last quote. So Mr. Modi, being so popular with all of us, fighting battles morning and evening, now with other countries as well. What he says is he dreams of a digital India where quality education reaches the most inaccessible corners, driven by digital learning. I think that sums it all. Where there is a digital India, where there is quality in education, but it reaches even to the poorest of the poor and to the remotest of the villages. And it is driven by digital learning. And that is an India we dream of, so that all our institutes are digitized and nobody has, problems accessing education. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And